We say a bit of the space that we spoke of 4, 2, and 3. That brings us to 9. And the reason I say it brings us to 9 is because 9 is really a mystical number. It's very important, even in our life, because 9 is really a mystical number. It's very important, even in our life. You know, in Islam, in the Quran, it says that God made angels with wings 2, 3, and 4. We have certain positions of prayer that we go through for rak'ah. And the independent numbers are 2 in the morning, 4 in the afternoon, and then there's 3 for Maghrib. Now there's 5 salats, and the 4 occurs more than one time, but the independent numbers themselves is 2, 3, and 4. Okay? Now, when you think about 9, why 9 is so important when it adds up. You know, we are born after 9 months in our mother's abdomen. The holiest month in the Islamic calendar is the 9th month for Ramadan. Moses received 9 signs. In Walmart's Masonry, they are taught that they go under the 9 archways. And one of the catechisms is 3 by 3, under and over, or 3 times 3, which is 9. And you know, Masonry, they have the 33 degrees, which is really a play on 9. 3 times 3. Or is 33 in a triangle, which still brings you to 9. So you have a 3, a 3, and the 3 lines in the triangle. But there's something else even more important about 9. All of that ties up. They say that Jesus gave up the ghost in the 9th hour. When you look at 360 degrees, it actually brings us back to 9. You add the cross 360 equals 9. Now, why 9 is a mysterious number is because anything times 9 can bring you back to 9. Anything times 9 can bring you back to 9. In other words, 9 times 1 equals 9, right? 9 times 2 equals 18, right? 1 and 8 equals 9, right? 9 times 3 equals 27. 2 and 7 equals 9. I didn't put this together, right? We were just blessed, if you want to call it that, to come across these things. And when we get things and we have the proper form, then we should share with one another. 9 times 4 equals 36. 3 and 6 is 9. Correct? Yeah, you know this is correct. 9 times 5. I know I have to keep going. Y'all keep going. But I kind of like doing it. But I'm going to jump. 9, now go ahead to big 10. 9 times 11 equals 99, right? 99. 9 and 9, 9 plus 5 is 18, right? 180. So anything times 9 can bring you back. 9 times 7, right? 63. 6 and 3 is 9. Okay? So 9 has always been known to be a mysterious number. A mysterious number. So that means in other regions, it consists of 3 levels of 9 also. 3 stages of 3 so far. 3 levels of 3. So all of that, man, know yourself, 4, 2, and 3, really leads them to 9. to 9. And the reason it leads you to the 9 is because it brings us to, if you, I forget what terminology you use it, but 4 and the 5. We go to the system of 4 and the 5. That's the point I'm really trying to make. But you know the 4 is the material, and what about 5? We have 5 senses. 5 equals a circle. If you extend your hand this way, like this, over your legs, you have 5 points. That would be a circle. Your head to your arm, to your foot, to your feet, and you go all around, that's a circle. It would actually be like this. It would really, well, 5 points. Kind of go like this, yes. The 2 legs. We extended it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if we went around, so 5 is a circle. And in the Semitic language, the Arabic in particular, the number 5 is a circle. So 4 and 5 again, all of this equals to balance, material, spiritual balance. If we can bring any message, let us try to have material and spiritual balance. Let us not have balance. Let us not be too spiritual. Let us not just tell them that if you can have the whole world, just give me somebody else. Let us not be too materialistic when you say, hey man, I'll deal with that hereafter stuff later. And I understand people saying that because when we were born into slavery and shortly thereafter, I heard a brother tell me, he said, well, the Europeans, he had us thinking on the after state while he got the real estate. So, I understand those of us that woke up and say, oh man, I ain't building no after state. I want this now. But we have to balance it out. We have to balance it out. You know, because we have 2 eyes, right? But one vision come together. We have 2 ears, but we hear one sound. We have 2 nostrils, but we smell one thing. We have 2 legs, but they support one body. We have 2 arms, but they work together for one body. We have, they speak of Solomon's temple, but the temple was right here. They say that there was 2 columns, Boaz and Yakin, right here. And we have 2 ears, and we have a conscious and a subconscious. But if you reflect on some of the things we said, you will see that the eagle with this great vision represents the spiritual, and I'm going back to the pyramid with the iris is material, right? And we spoke of 2 eyes, 1 vision. The only money you will find it on is the $1 bill. Not the $2 bill, or the $5 bill, or the $20 bill. Why? Because it lets you know that your spiritual and your material eye and vision should be one. Not 5, not 50, not 1,000, but it's only on the $1 bill. Because the material and the spiritual should work together as one. As one. Our concerns should be as one. You know, in Christianity, they tell us in the Bible that Jesus took some of his disciples up to a mountain. And he showed them 2 lights. One of Moses and one of Elijah. And we know Moses was a builder and a lawyer. And they say Elijah ascended to heaven. Okay? And it say that these 2 lights came together to form one. The transfiguration they call it. You make a few points and then we'll wrap it up. In Masonry, as they come on up to degrees, as a shrine, which in order to be a shrine, you have to at least be a 32nd degree Mason for the Knights Temple. They say that there are sources of burning sand. The sand of Arabia, in the early degrees, there are refers to the hot sands of the African continent continent, the Sahara. And they're trying to force those sands, symbolically speaking, to get to the pyramid, to get to those sands, to get to wherever they're going. But they say they're crossing the sands to worship at the shrine of Islam. This is what the shrine says. But the question is, what is sand? What does sand represent? You know, it's hard to get footage on the sand. Instability, insecurity. And hot sand is even rougher. It's your hot passions. That we cannot, as a people, get our footage in passion. You can't build nothing just on passion. You can't go after business ventures, educational ventures, strictly on passion. You can't build nothing on passion. Even your romantic affairs, there must be more to it than just the passions. You get past the passions and you lock into some solid things. Either some business investments, some children, a house, etc. You say, baby, you got to move a little past this. You say, baby, I can get that anywhere, you know? You start talking like that. That's how the youngsters be talking. I'm a teacher, I hear it, you know? They talk themselves to them other youngsters. Right out, I can get that anywhere, you know? I ain't gonna say what they really be saying. So you can't really build on the hot passion. You can't get stability, that's the message. That crossing the sand, meaning getting past the passion, getting past the instability. And where are they heading? They say they're going to the shrine of Islam. What is the shrine of Islam? The Kaaba, which is a physical, solid brick building. So you're moving from instability to stability. You're moving from the rough aspect to the perfect aspect. We move from a crude state as a people to sophistication. We move from darkness into light. So crossing the sand means that you are trying to move from insecurity and instability to a solid foundation. And always trying to tie these to our people, to us. That we should be trying to make ourselves solid in the economy of America. Solid in the political arena of America. Solid in all of the aspects that is good for our life. And what is the Kaaba? The Kaaba is a square, cube-shaped building, 4 sides, 4 corners. And when you get there, what do? What are you going to do when you get across the sand, brother? How are you going to worship at the shrine of Islam? Well, when you get there, you make circles around the square. What is called tawaffs. You make 7 circles. And you also go what is called Sa'id. You run 7 times back and forth through the hill, Safa Marwa. And we just talked about Egypt and Isis, the 7 Baals. Well, when you go through run between the 2 hills on Hajj, that's in commemoration of Hagar, the wife of Abraham, who ran 7 times on the desert, searching for water. But she was from Egypt, they tell us, right? So they tell us why she ran 7 times. Because she was trying to unlock the mysteries of the desert with 7. And we know 7 represents completion, right? 7 days in a week. They talk about the book of 7 seals. In our religion, we're told that there are 7 heavens and 7 gates to heaven. The Quran tells us that God revealed the Quran in the 7 oft-repeated verses. So we know that 7 means completion. So when you cross the burning sand, to get to the shrine of Islam, you go 7 times around the Kaaba, around the square. And to help those of you who may not know, the Kaaba, we know the Kaaba and the Kaaba term from Egypt also, but Kaaba really means joints and connection. That's the meaning, joints and connection. And the Kaaba is called It's called the house. And what does the house suggest? It suggests home life. And home life suggests family. And a family is no less than a connection of individuals based on love. So they say that they crossing the burning sands to get to the shrine of Islam. And it says, did you walk or did you ride? And they say they rode a bit, and they rode a camel. Now the camel is called ships of the desert. They're very wise animals. They move swiftly on the desert. Great vision, etc. And they're smart, they're intelligent, because they know there's not much water on the desert, so they store it. So you ride the camel across the desert. Across the sand, the instability. Meaning what? That you should ride your passions or whatever intelligently. That you should deal with passionate situations with intelligence. Not to get so hyped up the minute somebody call your name, or the minute something don't go your way. To check the passion with intelligence. Intelligence helps you get from one place to another. And they ride it to a certain point, then they tie it to a tree and walk the rest of the way, according to that. In closing, let me say that the African American interest into Masonic order really began in the military with a man called Prince Hall. He and about 14 others was initiated into a lodge in Boston, part of the military around March 6, 1775. But he was not satisfied to just be in the Masonic lodge. He wanted independence. He wanted independence. Now, Europeans considered him, and maybe consider him now, clandestine, didn't recognize him. But he wanted independence. He wanted independent lodges for the black African Americans. He was from Barbados, I believe. He wanted independence. So he wrote to England and received the charter, I believe, about 9 years later. But he wrote to England, to the Grand Lodge of England, and it reported that they gave him the charter. But the key is this. He wrote to England for the charter, but the name of his first lodge was African Lodge, number 459. Not Negro Lodge, not Colored Lodge, not even Black Lodge. Because it's in the 1700s. He called it African Lodge, which lets you know that he still has some awareness of his culture, of his heritage. That he was not afraid then to refer to himself in his lodge as African Lodge. You know, we wouldn't call ourselves African. The way the picture they painted us, we wouldn't dare associate with that. We was being called colored and other things. But African Lodge, which was a clue. Say, look to Africa. Have pride in your culture. We should have pride in our heritage, always. Always have pride in our heritage. Study our heritage. We have a rich heritage in Africa. And some of the richest heritage is Islamic empires, Islamic heritage. There's others, but some of your greatest was Islamic heritage in Africa. So although there's many things I don't agree with in the Masonic lodge, etc., I have to admit that Prince Paul had the courage and gave a clue. He said, African Lodge. That was courageous. Now, the Islamic destiny. The Islamic destiny. Brothers and sisters, know as I open up that El-Islam, Muslims do not seek to dominate the world, to dominate people and force our religion on no one, to make you accept our religion. It's not no accepted and live, rejected and die. We are not enemies inherently to Christians or Jews. Under certain circumstances, according to the teachings of our holy book of Quran, if the house of worship of other people, they are attacked simply because they are Christians, or simply because they are Jewish faith, practice Judaism, simply for that reason, then we too as Muslims are obligated to stand up and to defend their rights. So the Islamic destiny is to bring about a cohesive society where men and women and people of different faiths and religions could live together in harmony and in togetherness, and yes, compete for all that is good, righteously compete. So with that, I'd like to close out saying thank you for your attention. And I hope that you was able to receive something for what we had to say. And I greet you in peace and hoping we're open for questions. If you have any, peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum.